Yep, I was on mute. It happens, but it was only for like a half second, so it doesn't really count. Hello, everybody. I'm so glad everybody could make it tonight. And the topic for tonight is, of course, weird science. It's a 1985. I'm not sure if it would really be. It's like a comedy, romance, adventure, coming of age for boys. All right, listen here, Bionic. I am not a boomer. I just forgot that there's a mute button. It happens. It happens. But before I get started on that topic, which is obviously I love this movie so much. It's funny, it's witty, it's all of it, it's escapism. It was like when we used to look to the future with hope and brightness, and it was really great. And yes, exactly, Chris, it's dramatic effect. That's what it's there for. But this story is a little bit different. As I mean, there's still romance in it. Like the idea is, you have the two boys who are like outcast, dejected, sort of, they're losers basically. They're nerds. And they can't get the girls that they want, and then they're like, what if we just build her? So we'll get into that in a second. But Stig, I was not 1 minute late. What? You can't burn a vintage Bilbo figure. Burn something else. Burn a YA cover. Oh my gosh, George! Hello, George. Oh, I'm so glad you love this movie. I'm so glad. So first things first, I did promise Stig that I was going to actually talk about him for a quick sec, and it's really more a conversation that the two of us had over on Twitter. So we have there we go. I posted this just a little while ago, and I was curious. I was looking at old fantasy books that I have, and Sarah Douglas is one of my favorites. Stig and I actually have talked about Sarah Douglas some. He's not read any of her books, but I think he will really like them whenever he gets around to it, ever gets the chance to. But it's the same thing. He shared a couple of tweets, and I'll share those or replies, and I'll share those in a second. But it used to be that when you, of course, it's going to do this to me. It used to be that when you had a book, and it was a fantasy book, and it was, even if it wasn't popular, you would still have a scene pulled from the book and put on the cover. And it would sort of you'd be like, oh, what is this scene? What exactly am I in for? This looks really intriguing. So a perfect example, and there would be different covers for the books depending on the edition that it was and printing and everything. But if you look here, you have Enchanter. So this is the same book. And it's got the same cover because it's the same edition. But then you come over here, and this is Enchanter, and it's the two of them standing together on a balcony looking out over this crystal lake, and all of these autumn colors. Or are they autumn colors? You don't know. You're like, wow, where's this? So you've got autumn, you've got winter. Are what is this, the same book? Is this a different, book two? I'm really interested. What is this? So if you look at all of these, they tell a scene from the book itself, and it pulls you into the story, right? Now, look at this. Tell me that this is not the same cover with different poses and different skin tones. Seriously, I can't different. These are three. This one over here on the far left, and these three in the middle, they are 4 different books. This one's called A Shadow of Crows. This one is Iron Bones. This one is Oak and Thorns. And this one is the Silver Stag. I would have, honest to God, in a bookstore, I would have, honest to God, thought they were the same book. The same book. And if you look, it's all, with the exception of two of them. So you've got dark, brooding dude in a trench coat here. And you've got, I think he's supposed to be an angel. It's like a wing here, but I can't tell if it's a fairy wing, if it's an angel wing. It's not, it's an image, and I can't tell what it is. That's not good. Like, if you're trying to be mysterious, then maybe you should have had it be like him standing there and casting a shadow, and you see wings on the wall from his shadow. You know what I mean? Like, how did we go from this with where you pulled a scene out of the book and actually brought it to life to, I honest to God think that, like, these are different authors too. Like, this is a Shay Roberts, this is Yasmin Galenorn, this is Sarah Cannon, Ashley Mayer, you know, Krista Walsh. Like, these are different authors. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different authors between these book covers. These books are all the same author. All the same author. 5 different authors. It's insane to me that this is where we're at. Like, my heart broke when I saw this. And yes, Stig, we need to do a stream on this. I'm about to share your tweet really quick. So, a couple people respond. So here's Super. I love him. He's good people. He's like, hey, just so you know, the authors on the right are paranormal, like YA romance, which I'm not shocked about. But when you type in fantasy novels, like, this is what comes up now. Like, this is best-selling fantasy novel stuff that comes up. So then we come down here, and he's like, here's some other cool sci-fi fantasy covers. This is Brandon Sanderson. I love The Way of the King. If you've not read the Stormlight Archive, you are missing out. Like, it is truly phenomenal work. It is on par with Tolkien, and I would say Stig could probably disagree with me. I've not read the Game of Thrones novels, but from what I know of them, I would say that this tops Game of Thrones easily. And the Wheel of Time books, I think that it's a pretty close call, but I think this would edge out the Wheel of Time books. If we're talking like Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, this is on par with that as well. Like, this is a great series. It's called the Stormlight Archive, and this is book 1. And then this is The Wise Man's Fear. See, so like, you're in a scene from a book. You're wondering, okay, so this is obviously somebody's point of view. There's somebody that's a cloaked individual through mist. It might be supernatural mist. It might be natural. They might be using the elements to their advantage. And you've got this scene where you're clearly being pulled into the book. And this is from the Kingkiller Chronicle Day 2. The Kingkiller Chronicle Day 2. Kingkiller Chronicles is a really good one. And then, of course, here's Dune, which is minimalistic, but it's the contrast to what we saw with the other covers, where it's literally the same poses, the same fit, like, it's the same. All of the books look the same. All the covers look the same. This is very stark. And when you get into the book, you realize that this is, in fact, not necessarily a scene pulled from the book, but it's imagery that's been combined from the book, right? So then we scroll down, and here is, hang on, we'll do, okay, Stig, where's your first one? Insane Downgrade. Oh no, where did it go? Where'd your first one go, Stig? I swear, Twitter, what are you doing to me? Organize your tweets with some kind of method. Okay. I hate Twitter. Okay. Because you had a Brandon Sanderson novel, didn't you, Stig? Maybe I'm misthinking. Maybe you deleted it. I don't know. Okay, so here is one. The Shannara Chronicles. Terry Brooks. It's fantastic. And this is, again, on par with Lord of the Rings. This is on par with Lord of the Rings. I like, it doesn't edge it out, but it's very close to it. And it is definitely on par with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And if you've never read C.S. Lewis's Space Trilogy, I also highly recommend that. His Space Trilogy is actually better than his than The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe series, the Chronicles of Narnia. In my personal opinion, the Space Trilogy is fantastic. But Terry Brooks, like, look at this. Like, this is a scene you're like, just, it's so good. It pulls you in, the detail, the door, the frame, the weapons, the sword. You've got characters there. Even like the scrolling of the title is just incredible. And it pulls you into the book, and you've got these pillars, and you're like, what am I looking at? Where are they at? What could this be? And then you go, this is the updated cover for this book. Like, quite frankly, especially with the way cropping works nowadays, it would be so easy for this castle to get cropped out. Like, incredibly easy to get cropped out. It went from this to this. This is an insane downgrade, and the fact that it happened to Terry Brooks just stuns me. And I almost wonder if this happened after he passed away. I'm not sure. Stig would have to tell me if this was before or after Terry Brooks passed away. But to do this to his work, because just like Jordan, Brooks is very vivid with his writing. Like, you are in the story when you read it. You can't help it. And there's so much detail, and everything is intertwined and connected, and it feels like you are submersed in this world. And then he broke my heart even more. Oh, actually, so here it is. This is the second one. Here's the other one. This is what Disney is doing to their EU books. I don't have a current EU book to share right now, but like, look at this. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. This looks like a sketch. Like, this looks like a sketch that you would do prior to concept art even. Like, this is sketch before. Oh, that's right. Terry Goodkind, not Terry Brooks. Thank you, Stig. Okay. Yeah, Terry Brooks is still alive. All right, thank you. Yeah, my bad. Goodkind is the one who passed away. Apologies. But like, look at this. This looks like concept art. This is the best one out of all of them, just because you've got like, oh, like, what's going, like, okay, this is kind of, what is this? Like, what's going on here? But then you're like, okay, Darth Plagueis. So like, if this is Darth Plagueis, is this supposed to be when he's an apprentice? Because he's supposed to be much, if this is Darth Sidious when he is Darth Plagueis, like, apprentice, he's not young enough. And then you've got this, I don't even know what this is. Like, I have no idea what is happening right now. Like, I get where they're going, but this should be, like, all these covers have orange on them, except the one that should have freaking orange on it. Like, what is happening? There's no color. It's all blue. I'm angry. I'm very angry. And this is just, I love Ewan McGregor, but he deserves better than this. Star Wars deserves better than this. I don't even care anymore. But the covers themselves are what upset me. Like, I just cannot believe that downgrade. Then this is what really broke my heart. So this is called The Magician. I have had it for a while, as Stig knows. I read it a long time ago, but haven't really gotten back into it to reread it, because it's been so long that a lot of the details are fuzzy, as happens when time passes, right? And so, but like, look at this cover art. You're like, okay, they're clearly on an adventure. They're somewhere in like either a cove or maybe, you know, a secret island somewhere. And you're like, where could they be? What is happening? Like, they seem to be on some kind of mission. He is clearly like the young apprentice who is armed, and then he has his sage, wise magician mentor. So where could they be? Like, what scene in the book is this? I can't wait to figure out what scene in the book this is. And then you get to this. This is the updated cover art. This is the same book. I'm done with the key thing. I cannot tell you how many books I have seen with keys on the cover. Just why? Like, look at, he's so, like, he said, like, look at this downgrade. This is tragic. I would never pick this book up. I wouldn't, because I would be expecting, if I did not know that this was the same, if I didn't know that this was the same book as this, I would never pick it up. Because here's the thing. It says Feist in big letters, but George R.R. Martin literally took the R.R. to I say he stole it from J.R.R. Tolkien. People's professional names, some of them are like, oh, well, it's to pay homage to the greats. Like, I never go off of, when they have the last name in big bold letters like this, it tells me one of two things. One, it's either the author that I'm looking for and it's where I want to be, or two, it's someone who's trying to use the success of previous authors to boost up their own book, which is mediocre at best and nowhere near on par with the actual author that they are attempting to conflate themselves with. And it usually ends up being some kind of YA nihilistic trash. But if all I saw was this book cover across the way, I would never pick up this book. And I'm just over here like, why? What is going on? And then Dr. Rachel Lindbergh, she's a sweetheart. She says, I miss beautiful book cover art with landscapes and cool scenes on it with important details about the story you're going to read. Like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Just like, please, for the love of God, stop putting keys on books. Yes. Just make it stop. Yes, lock them keys up. I am not one to like destroy books. This makes me want to destroy books. Like, I hate these minimalistic, nihilistic, gray. Everything is gray. You know what I mean? Like, good God in heaven. Yeah, Miss Martin. Yes, the keys. Down with the keys, okay? So you've got, like, these don't look like the same book. And see here, the title speaks for itself. Like, you know what you're getting, okay? I'm assuming that meant that these people knew this graphic sucks and it was low effort, and they were like, okay, we need to put Feist's name in big, huge letters so people realize it's still the same book. But, like, look at this. Magician isn't even capital. Like, it's down here at the bottom. It's smaller than the author's name. That means that what they are trying to do, what they are selling you, when this happens, they are selling the author's name. They are not selling the story. Okay? If a story is good, sell the story. Look at that. Like, this is a pretty oh, of course it's not gonna, there we go. This is a fairly simplistic text cover. Magician is the largest font. And it has script. So you have sans script, which literally means without script, and then you've got this, and you've got script, which means it's got some sort of design or like something that the letters do to sort of give them an edging, right? So you have this here. Then this is Sanskrit. There's no, like, you'll notice they're much sharper. They don't have the same filigree, whatever you want to call it. But so you have the title, then the author's name is second, and then down here he gives credit to his artist, which you really don't see anymore. Probably because nobody wants their name attached to stuff like this. Like, it says international bestseller Raymond E. Feist, magician, original masterwork of magic and adventure. What a freaking mouthful. Like, just sell me the book, sell me the story, put beautiful art on the cover. I am there. You know what I mean? Like, gah, stop it. I'm over it. I'm so done. And then, here, we'll go to my profile because I retweeted, plus I also tweeted and replied. But earlier today, if anybody, who knows me, I hate when people like mark up books or deface books. But it was something that like da, 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 it enhanced the book, and it's something that used to be done a lot, and where you used to not only have cover art. I'm gonna have to maybe go over here. You not only had cover art, but you also had like the pages were filigree. Sometimes they would just be pure gold on the edges. Sometimes there would be artwork on the edges. And so you not only get the front cover, the spine, and the back cover if you were lucky to get all of that beautiful art on there, but you'd also get a scene on the pages themselves. Where in God's name did it go? All right, we're going to do this way then. Here we go. Ta-da! Okay. So, this young woman, she goes ahead. This is a copy of the Lord of the Rings, right? And I'm like over here. First of all, her hair. Oh my goodness, right? So she's getting prepped, and I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? She looks like she's a millennial or a Gen Zer, and she's marking up a Lord of the Rings book. What's happening? And then it takes you to the scene, and you're like, what? Like, she's enhancing the book. This used to be what she's doing right here. This used to be a thing. This very much, you used to get page art. That is how much love and passion used to go into books, especially if like with this edition where she's holding it up at the front and right here, you see that it's the title and the author, and the cover is still beautiful, but this is minimalistic for sure. There's no scene, there's no nothing. But what used to be really common, especially with these book covers, is you would get this gorgeous scene art on the pages. And I miss this. This is a dying art, and I don't know who this Maisie Matilda is, but I will hire you to do all of the artwork on any book that I ever write, because it's so beautiful, and so much effort used to go into books and into the illustrate, especially if it's a novel that has just maybe a few maps and one or two pictures because the author thought it was important enough to have those pictures in there. So much effort used to go into them. Like, look at what she created. This is breathtaking. Breathtaking. And she did not deface this book. She didn't destroy it. She didn't try to like sign it or make it what like she didn't try to make it her own. She didn't reinterpret Tolkien and throw what she envisioned of the scene on the side of the book. She literally pulled the scene out of the book and put it on the side so that we could enjoy it. And then of course you get the ambiance with it outside. And then you get to see, the pages have not been damaged. Like, it takes true skill. Do you see that, like, the paint has not bled down the page? There's no bleeding of the paint. The font is intact. Like, this is breathtaking. This is art. And then, of course, look at what's on top. So you get this little bit extra on the top. That is how much care went into this. That is how much passion and talent went into this. And this is what I miss, because this is supposed to be escapism. This is supposed to be a fantasy, and it's supposed to pull you out of the nihilistic gray world. You look at that, and you tell me, you tell me that looks anything. You tell me that this is anywhere close to on par with what you just saw. Like, it's night and freaking day. These are muted. They're and it's either all warm or all cool colors. There's no flow, there's no nuance, there's no differentiation. Again, this one on the far left and these 3 books are 4 different books, and I would never know that. I'm just devastated by this. I truly, truly am. And it's, I don't know what to say outside of the fact I'm so disappointed. Mia and Kankar. Yeah, okay, it's gonna just be a big key right on the cover of my very first book, and I'll just troll the heck out of everybody. You're absolutely right. I like that strategy. No. Oh man, that's good though. Yes, that book art is amazing. That was amazing. Like, look at what she was able to accomplish. Look at what we used to have. The covers themselves told a story. And the whole reason it was don't judge a book by its cover is because a lot of people, like, you had to put effort into your cover because people did care. Stig saying sometimes you don't even get maps anymore either. The Witcher book, no map. Same with Joe Abercrombie's books. I need maps. Yes, give me maps. For the love of God, give me maps. I hate that you don't get maps anymore. That's what I'm saying. Like, we don't get maps, and if we do get maps, they're not good, or they conflict. Stig and I have talked about this a lot. We are gonna have to do a stream on it, but the maps will actually conflict with what the book is about. You know what I mean? Yes, Eric K. That is an artist. Absolutely, 100%. And it's just, I would have to agree with you, Sig. Yeah, video game covers too. It used to be a thing. And like some books had where if you opened up the cover, here, I'm going to stop sharing for just one quick sec. Hold on. They were called but when you opened up the book itself, the spine, the front cover, and then the spine, and then the back cover would be like when you opened up the cover of the book, they would be a continuation of sorry, I'm talking out loud. I do that a lot when I'm thinking. But yeah, you would open up. I wish I could describe this better. Here we go. Oh, George MacDonald, of course. Like, it makes sense. Okay, so this is Evanor. All right, so here, if I can click the right dealio, here's what I'm talking about. You would open up the cover of the book, and freaking key. Okay, but I'll let this one slide because look at everything else that accompanies it, right? And this actually has a lot to do with the story. And the back blurb is literally, it's from C.S. Lewis. I would put that on the back. Like, I would put that over my cover art as well if C.S. Lewis was giving me a review. And what it says is, what he does best is fantasy that hovers between the allegoric and, oh gosh, you're going to make me say this word, mythopoeic. And this, in my opinion, he does better than any man. MacDonald is the greatest genius of this kind whom I know. That is high praise. High praise. Coming from C.S. Lewis. Think about who that man is and what he did. And this is what he's saying about Donald. Like, honest to God, this is insane. But look at this cover art. It's gorgeous. And the scene wraps around the whole book. You open it up and you get, and so if you only had just this cover, just the front cover is beautiful. But then you are treated to an even larger full image when you open the book up. Like, this is what reading and fantasy used to be. And it just isn't there anymore, and it's terrible that this is what it's become, that this is what fantasy has been subjected to, that you aren't given this escapism anymore. We're given so much gray. Like, just so much gray. And I don't know how to... Oh, Lord. Thank you, Mad. What did you do? What did you do? Stop sending me this stuff. This is sad. This is depressing. Oh my god. Oh. Yes, like look at like this is clearly the sword and the stone. This is Excalibur. This is like look at the power that's coming off this sword. Oh my god, I hate this. What is this? This doesn't even make sense. And if that is supposed to be Arthur, that is insulting for so many reasons. Holy crap. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Look at this. I would pick this book up. I would 100% pick this book up. I don't even know, like... You're not supposed to put this crap on the front cover. What is... You don't put blurbs on the front cover. Oh my god, I'm gonna have a stroke. Oh my good heavenly... What in goodness gracious... Yike-a-roonies. Okay. Now that I've gone through all those emotions, I don't even know what stages of grief those were. I think I would still be in the first one. What's the first one? Denial? No, I'm pretty well accepted that this is reality. I can't believe they did this. Now, the Once and Future King, again, so we'll talk about the title again. So it's selling you the book, it's selling you the title. T.H. White is the second biggest up here in like similar colors to the title. And then under here you have the world's greatest fantasy classic. That is debatable for a few reasons. One, because obviously the whole reason Lord of the Rings exists is because of the Norman invasion. We have no idea what stories we lost and were destroyed by the Norman invasion. So there could have been something far more epic than Lord of the Rings, King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, Camelot. There could have been something, and I know that this story is actually like they found the way. I'll have to do a stream on the Once and Future King because the history behind it is pretty fascinating. But how many other stories like this existed? Was this the only one that survived, or the only one that was legible that survived? But how are you going to go from something so like even my screen? Like look at the difference in that it makes in my screen. Like the coolness of the cover is just not enveloping. It doesn't pull you in. This is bright and vibrant, and you want to know what's happening in this in this kingdom, and who is this Once and Future King? What are we getting into? You notice there's no blurbs. Up here they do say the world's greatest fantasy classic, Camelot and romance and wizardry and war by the author of the Book of Merlin. So like, it's telling you straight up, it's Camelot, it's romance, it's wizardry, it's war. If that is not high fantasy, sword and sorcery, and doesn't get you pumped, I don't know what is. But I would read this book. I would not read this book. Also, I love the detail of how the K wraps around the sword right here on King. I do love that. Eric K, yes, Lord Gravemaster, who was in the chat earlier, that was my husband. Yes. That was him. He likes to pop in and be supportive every once in a while, which I genuinely appreciate. He usually lurks, actually. The one, yeah. So, oh, more people have chimed in. Okay, so then this account, Riot Kitty Halloween, so has sort of illuminated, and I sort of figured that this is what it was. We all said that it was, to save money and whatever. But this account says changes in graphic design trends from contemporary to more modernistic, which usually initials a single striking subject taking up a piece with an abstract background. P.S. I'm studying this stuff. So this is a push within like the art community, within the reading, like whoever the powers that be, the publishing companies, whatever it is, whatever that may be, they have decided that they want and customers want this. I don't want this. I do not want. I want vivid imagery. I want flow. I want color. I want vibrancy. Like, pull me into your story. This looks like the same whiny brat Twilight or Hunger Games chick. They're all interchangeable. You could literally interchange every single one of them, and it wouldn't do anything to the story. And I'm sure there are fans of this genre who are going to come after me for saying that, but it is so freaking true. It is so true. Am I going to sing Stroke by Billy Squire? No, I'm not going to sing. I'm pretty sure that's copyright. I'll definitely get struck. I got hit last week for the Bill and Ted trailer, and that sucker's 24 years old. We're going to be playing the Weird Science trailer here in just a second. I hope I don't get struck for that. Nobody tattle, but we were only off, like, I was only down for like 90 seconds. Still annoying. Like, my tiny little 2300 channel, you're going to strike me for a 25-year-old trailer? Like, come on, or how long ago was 1989? Yeah, so it's like a 30-year-old trailer. Come on now. But yeah, this is like, I don't want this. Nothing to do with it. It's not fantasy. It's I don't know what it is. It's sad is what it is. This is what I want. I want scenes ripped right out of the book and put on the cover. I want that page art that we saw from that artist, who I may have to actually get a TikTok just so I can follow her. You know what I mean? Like, that's how good her stuff was. Like, that was true talent. She didn't just be like, oh, like, look at me, I'm a pretty girl, like my stuff. No, she let her work speak for herself. You're curious at first. She does a very good hook. She shows you it's the Lord of the Rings. Then she puts it in a book press, and you're like, oh God, what's about to happen? Please don't deface this book. And then you see the reveal, and the payoff is incredible. It's truly incredible. So now that we have somewhat glistened over, it more looks like a Harlequin novel covers. Yeah, I blame Twilight. That's where I'm going with this. I think that's actually a response or a reply in that thread. Someone's like, Twilight. And I blame them for a lot of things. But yeah, so now that we've talked about a subject for half the stream that has nothing to do with the title of the stream, but it's something I'm super passionate about, and you're going to hear a lot more about that kind of stuff going in the future. Let's talk about one of my favorite movies. My mom actually, I think I was like 7 or 8 when I watched this with my mom, and it was so much fun. And I just remember, nope, I'll get struck for that because it's too big. I just remember being like, what's going to happen? And what am I watching? And I remember when this logo used to pop up, I used to be excited because it usually meant that something good was in store. Not so much anymore. Just saying. But so with the freaking, they hold nothing back, right? So they're punching in their perfect woman. This is Weird Science. And it is 2 teenage boys who are sick of being losers, who are sick of being ignored, who are sick of not having the girl. So they build their perfect girl. They input all of her data into the computer. They attach it to a Barbie doll. And they're like, okay, well, what should we do? I wish Lethal was here. Because I'm sure he would approve of their figures that they put in, that they opted for her. But like, look at this. The story is literally, so Weird Science is right there. It's getting out of hand. Stuff is happening. They can't explain it. Stuff's happening with gravity. Stuff's happening with the house. These creatures are coming up and out. People in their family in the house are acting weird. And so they're like, oh my gosh, like, what is happening? Like, what can we do? How do we fix this? And like, her whole purpose right? So what their plan was to use her to show that they were cool and that they were that you wanted to be friends with them, and that they could get a hot girl who was like an older chick too, like not a high school chick. They could get an older chick. And like, look at that scene. You'd never see that today, ever. But yeah, they plug in the Barbie, and she comes to life as their ideal woman, and they use her to try and make other people jealous or to make them seem cool. But the longer that they keep her around, the more problems are happening. I can't believe how many of you have not seen this movie. I'm not going to ruin the end. Normally, like, I can't believe this. I'm about to not spoil a 33-year-old movie. When did this come out? 1985, and we're in 2021. So we're talking, I can math. 36-year-old movie. I can't believe that I have to not spoil a 36-year-old movie. And it's so good, guys. Go watch this movie. Oh Lord, you will laugh. You'll laugh. It's timeless. Like, you'll actually relate to this movie. It's so funny. And I want to make sure I'm saying it. Is it Mecha Gengar? Mecha Gengar. I hope that's right. But that's true. They don't answer where the Barbie doll came from. Oh. Well. I'm officially stumped because I just watched this movie, and you literally, yeah, they don't explain where the Barbie doll comes from. It's irrelevant. They find it. They steal it from a little girl. They break her heart at Christmas. There we go. We'll add that into the canon. They break her heart at Christmas. But yeah, so like all of this stuff, so think about what they did. They took a Barbie doll and they made her proportions larger, right? And so stuff like that, they're messing with the flow of time. They're messing with gravity. They're meshing with like space-time itself, like the waves of stuff. But they don't really understand what they're doing because, oh yeah, Gary has a sister. There we go. There you go. So it's such a good movie. Like, you can find it on, I think it's still on Hulu. You can rent it on Amazon, or just do like me, go get a physical copy, because this is a movie you're gonna want to watch again and again and again. It is so freaking funny and accurate, and it's even got like, as ridiculous as it is, like, it's insightful too, and it has consequences, and they learn a lesson. I know, shocking, I know, but it's so, it's everything that 80s movies, that you love about 80s movies. The cars, the music, the script, the jokes, the acting is on point. I mean, and there's, you start to like really understand their characters and why they are the way that they are and what made them be friends. And the story itself, Bill Paxton's in it, for the love of God. Like, if for no other reason, go watch it for him. But yeah, it's just, you can't help but laugh. And there's some crazy, because again, they're messing with science to an extent that they themselves don't really understand what they're doing. So it makes for some hilarity. There's yes, Stig, this movie would 100% be canceled today. There is it would be problematic, because there are jokes about boobs, there's jokes about butts, there's jokes about kids, about chicks, and it's these guys are kids, like, that are making these jokes about grown women, right? And then you've got like the bullying in this movie, and Yeah, you've got the freaking the guy locker room talk. Like it's all in there. It's all in there. And it's all hilarious. And it's freaking fantastic. My question, when I was watching this movie again, I was like, how did the water not fall out of the toilet? You know what I mean? Because she falls, like when the room twists, like when you start seeing this stuff, like, okay, here's the dog. Why is the dog on the ceiling and nothing else is? And then when the whole room flips over and she falls down, why doesn't the water from the toilet fall out too? You know what I mean? Just questions, like little things you notice, but you can kind of let them go because it's weird science, right? Um, so it's oof, what happens to his character? Be quiet, Mika. You're gonna give it away. We are not spoiling this movie. It's but see, like there, it's so much fun. That would be known as a negligent discharge, people. And look, he had a revolver too. Too soon? Um, but yeah, this movie is 36 years old. That's insane. And you know, the other thing that this movie really nails is the timing. And cuz just like right when you're like, okay, obvious, like cuz the kids are having fun, right? They're like we don't want to give this up. So at first it's fun and then stuff starts to happen. And then they're like, "Oh, well, I don't want to give this up yet. Like we don't want to go back to being what we were, so we're going to just try and basically put a band-aid on really big issues, right?" And then more weird stuff starts to happen and they're like, we can't keep doing this. And she's actually like, you don't need me anymore. You don't need me anymore. um and they're like, okay, well, this, that, and the other. But again, they learn from this, they grow from this. They take what they learned from her and they use it. um and they don't go back to the way that they were. And you believe every second of it because the struggle that you watch them go through, because a big motivator for them not wanting to like revert back to to not having all of the weird science going on, is because they don't want to go back to who they were before. They don't want to be the losers, the nerds shoved into lockers, all of this stuff. So uh they don't want, and like stuff back at like the wave of the future thing that was behind him. Yeah, I realized what I was circling right then. But like again, the setting of this movie, the set pieces of this movie, it's really, all of it lends itself to the story. The it's just so in Tolkien's writing, the world is its own character. Like it takes on a life of its own. It is a character in the book. Like the ring is a character in the book and it's just an inanimate object. And he even brought, Middle Earth even more to life when you've got the Ents, like the trees who could move and whisper and talk to each other, right? So he really made the settings come to life and everything played into the story. And that's what you're supposed to do with the setting. It shouldn't just feel like, oh, we're in a room. You should feel like it matters where you are and it's woven into the story. And that's what this does. Like the house itself feels like a character. Like you feel bad for the house. When you watch this movie, you're like, oh man, this poor house. Like right there, he shot the freaking banister, you know? So yeah, this movie does a fantastic job with the costumes, with the setting. The comedic timing was just brilliant. The jokes were on point. Even the understated comedy, where it's more wit than it is outright humor, is it's done well in this. The dialogue is fantastic. You completely buy into the fact that these are two young boys who are sick of being nerds and they want a hot chick. Like that's literally what this is. And it was, it's what they did. TV series is pretty good too. I never saw the TV series. I know one exists, but I've never actually watched it. Oh god. Abigor, what do you have up here? Weird science reboot, but with CRT in the classroom where Gary and Wyatt are two trans kids and their perfect she-her is a non-binary Leslie. Just stop it, Abigor. How dare you give them ideas? You know they're going to do it. Professor Logos, hello. Welcome. And yeah, I want to like, I'm not going to spoil the ending. Like the last 10 minutes of this movie are actually brilliant. Like the whole movie is fantastic, but the way that this movie ends is just, it is writing that you don't see today anymore. You never ever see it. Hey, Clover. I would love for endings like this one to come back again. It was emotional. It was, oh man, just, it's so good. Like, it's witty, it's considerate. It doesn't try to it doesn't take itself too seriously, but it realizes what it needs to do to deliver the ending, and it nails it perfectly. And so, like, honest to God, all of you that are in here, please, please, please go watch this movie. I would love, 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 love to see endings like this come back. To have writing come back like this. And some people are like, oh, look at how cheesy the effects are. I can't watch those old movies. And you're like, first of all, considering what this movie pulled off and the time that it did it in, it's incredible what they were able to do, especially considering what they didn't have at their disposal. See, this is when ingenuity and creativity and talent really shined through, because you buy this movie. It's so good. You are willing to suspend your disbelief and take this movie in 100%. And that is the mark of excellent storytelling. And we don't have it anymore. And that's devastating. And I don't know why. Yes, exactly, Raj. This movie gets out of its own way. It lets it, when it calls for brevity, it's brevity. The timing, the chemistry, it's all in sync. And this movie doesn't take itself too seriously, but when it needs to stand and deliver, it does it. It delivers in every single way. And oh, thank you, QT Cast TV. I can start doing stuff like that if you want to know, different like budget versus profit or like box office earnings. So if it's $7 million to make this movie and it brought 38 million in from the box office, okay, I can do an inflation calculation really quick. So that would be equivalent to, that would be approximately a $111 movie today. Roughly. I'm I'm flying fast and loose with my percentages here, so you'll have to forgive me. So so that would be equivalent to a $111 million budget today. I don't think you could do any better with this movie, even with a $111 million budget. This $7 million budget really just, like, it nailed it. And so you're talking about a film, like, if you look at what it says, 38 million is pretty much 5.5 times the budget. So it raked in 5.5 times the budget of the film. That is their goal. Like, think about the movies that they make now with a $250 million budget, right? Can you imagine if, like, I forget, Rise of Skywalker was like 300, wasn't it? Or whatever it was. So if you had a $250 million budget and you wanted to make 5.5 times that amount, that would be $1.3 billion. If you had a $250 million budget and you wanted to make 5.5 times that amount, that's almost a $1.4 million or $1.4 billion box office revenue. That's insane. That's what this movie was able to accomplish. 5.5 times its production budget. It was able to pull in at the box office. Studios dream of box office numbers like that, especially nowadays. This movie is so freaking fantastic. And it is 80s all the way. Like, it's so hard to go wrong with the 80s as is. But the hair. Like, look at how pretty she is. You know, she's and there's not all of this weird stuff going on. Like, she's in the 80s garb. She's got the oversized sweatshirts. She's got the big hair. It's fun. It's hilarious. And it's smart. It's such a smart movie, which is fitting considering it's called Weird Science. So please, everybody, do yourselves a favor and please go check this film out. You will not be disappointed. I'm not going to ruin the ending. But if you will do me a favor and either in the comment section of this video, or if you can find me on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, if you can let me know what you thought of the film, that would mean a lot. It really, really would, because I would like to know if you guys think my suggestions are decent or up your alley, kind of what you're looking for, or if I've just completely lost the plot. I hope I haven't, but movies like this, they're so much fun, and they're not something that you want to keep to yourself. And if it's been a while since you've watched it, Clover, go watch it again. You know you're in for a good time. Stig. Yes. I'm glad you liked it. I didn't know it was on Blu-ray. I may have to go get it. Yeah, physical media, people. Get it before it's gone, because then they'll take everything from you. Look what they've done to the book covers, as we said earlier. So I'm over in my donation side, and Raj Williams for 10 Canadian dollars. Thank you, Raj. Says, looking forward to this week's discussion, Lady G. Smiley face. Thank you. I'm so glad. Hopefully it's been worth it thus far. But yeah, this is one of those movies where no matter what kind of mood I'm in, if I watch it, I'm going to be in a better mood. Like, you can't help but be in a good mood after you watch this movie. It's yes, physical media does make your living room look like a blockbuster. Or in my case, the living room, the hallway, the bedroom all look like a blockbuster / library. So, all good things. Priorities, yo. Canadian pesos. Yes, Canadian pesos. Oh, thank you, Raj. We do need to point ourselves back to movies and books and just music, everything that made us feel good, because God knows Hollywood isn't going to give it to us. Mainstream media is not going to give it to us. We're going to have to start writing it for ourselves, and we're going to have to start finding it for ourselves and going back to what is still good, but they are trying to forcibly remove from our memory and our ability to find it. Like, there's a whole generation of kids who have never seen stuff like The Never-Ending Story or The Wind in the Willows, read or seen The Wind in the Willows, Redwall, like whole generations that have never seen these movies. And it's just tragic. Just found the whole movie on BitChute. Don't know if I can link it without getting in trouble with the YouTube mods. I don't know. I've never linked a whole BitChute. I don't know. It's a BitChute link, so I wouldn't think it'd be a problem. But if you have BitChute, apparently you can go over there and watch it. So there you go. There's another medium which you could access it. So I strongly recommend, like, I'm not going to put anything on this stream that I have not seen myself and do not strongly recommend. And the reason being is because, yes, we need to call attention like we did at the beginning of this stream with the book covers, but there are solutions to that. Like, that's why I showed you that TikToker. She clearly has passion, she has talent, and she is letting that talent speak for herself. She wasn't up there flashing her, like shaking her butt or flashing her boobs, or, you know, trying to do some trendy dance music, whatever. She let her talent speak for herself, right? She got you the hook with the Lord of the Rings, and then she put down all the paint, and you were like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And then you saw the reveal, and it wasn't even finished yet, and you already knew it was going to be beautiful when she was done. So there are solutions out there, and we have to start presenting it. And so, excuse me, this stream is really going to focus, like this live stream that I'm going to be doing every week is to focus on stuff that is entertaining, that we love, that I want you guys to go and read or watch or listen to. That is really the whole point of this live stream, of this show, is literally so that you can find something, whether it be a creator or a story, or, you know, someone, like I saw in the chat, some of you didn't even know that, like, the Stormlight Archive, you didn't even know that existed. Brandon Sanderson is incredible. He is a wonderful fantasy author. He actually helped finish The Wheel of Time after Jordan passed away. And yes, you can tell the difference between Jordan and Sanderson, but Sanderson did try to be as faithful to Jordan and his notes and his vision as he possibly could be. So there's just there's so much that is so good that is out there, and we can create new things of our own. And the solutions aren't, we need to hire based on talent and on merit, and not on who checks what boxes, and, you know, is so and so cute, or are they my sister's cousin? Are they my sister's best friend's son, or whatever? You know what I mean? So the whole point of streams like this, the whole point of my stream, I can't speak for other people who do streams like this, is so that you can all find something that maybe will help with your escapism, or will pull you out of will pull you out of a funk, or it'll give you a new avenue to explore, because there's all of this medium available. There's all of these great stories that still need to be, that have been told, that so many people haven't read. And if you would go back and give them a chance, you'd realize that there's so much there that we don't have to bother ourselves with this nihilistic trash. But we do still have to fight against it. That's where you have to realize that we can't just ignore it. We can't just live in our little nostalgia bubble. As much as that sounds wonderful, you can't live there, because if we don't do anything, if we don't do anything about it, nobody's going to do anything about it. And that's going to be an even bigger problem, because it is going to allow the people who have been doing these things to continue to get away with it, essentially. And so it's not something that I want to focus on with these streams. This is strictly for nostalgia and enjoyment, and helping you guys find, you know, different properties or different books or stories that you may have missed out on or not known about, and for you to go back and be able to actually enjoy them. And so saying hi, hope to create my own weird science. Let me know how that goes. All right, Clover, you go get your exercise in. I'll talk to you later. We're about to wrap up. So, as I have made sort of tradition, I guess, or like what we've been doing late on at the end of streams is I'm going to share one or two artists with you guys um who you may not know about, who you might enjoy. I enjoy these are some of the things that I listen to that I like. I really would love to do a like I wish I need to I want to do a God Help the Outcasts cover. So if y'all didn't know, um Hunchback of Notre Dame is perhaps my absolute favorite Disney movie, with the soundtrack, the animation, the story. It's just absolutely one of my favorite, if not my absolute favorite. Um, so today, what I wanted to share with you guys were two different artists, actually, two different content creators, um, who they did a cover of Hellfire. Um, this first one is Jonathan Young. He's a huge metal creator on YouTube, and he's very talented. So today, actually, if you see on my Twitter, I also posted it on Instagram. But I have the poll in the first tweet, and then the thread is the links to all of the four creators' cover of Hellfire. But the two that I'm going to share with you today, just because a lot of people I have noticed know who Peter Hollins is, and quite a few also know who Caleb Hiles is. But I noticed that not very many people that I've at least talked to are as familiar with Jonathan Young or Tommy P. So this first cover is Hellfire by Jonathan Young. He's very well. Dark fire, now just it's your turn. Choose me, your fire, be mine or you will burn. God have mercy on her. God have mercy on me. But she will be mine, or she will. Okay, hello, Father Miller. All right, so I realize that this is now confusing since you just got here. I'm doing that thing where I share creators that I really like. I'm gonna go through all four of on my Twitter and on my Instagram. The poll is for which one of these covers do you think cover art, like artists nailed the cover of Hellfire from Hunchback of Notre Dame. So I'm going to cover all four of them. Specifically, I was going to just do Jonathan Young and Tommy P because less people seem familiar with those two. That first one was Jonathan Young, so you caught the very first one. To answer your question, though, Father Christopher, it was great. We covered it, but for the first half of the stream, we talked about book covers, so you'll have to go back and watch that because I'd love to get your opinion on that as well. I don't know if he cut his hair again. Very well. But you don't know, excuse me, you don't know the Disney film Hunchback of Notre Dame, Father Christopher Miller? I'm kind of surprised by that. The animated Disney film? I'm actually shocked. But yeah, so that was Jonathan Young. This one is Tommy P. He's got a completely different style. Talking trash me showing up late. I have no idea what's going on. Deathclaw Jedi. No, you're fine. I was talking to Father Christopher Miller. No. That was okay. That was Jonathan Young. He's doing a cover. I'm getting close to the end of the stream, and this is the part. Like, I'm at the end of the stream, so this is where I'm going to share different content creators for you. But specifically, the 4 that I'm showing you, that was the first one. The four that I'm showing you are in the poll over on my Twitter or in my Instagram. So when you listen to them, just who nailed their cover the best, basically, is where we're at. But the first half of the stream, we talked about book covers. And now Stig and I are going to do a whole stream over it. Plus, I have a video about it. So it's going to be great. The fantasy, like, we're going to do it. It's going to be fabulous. Yes, that I use the word fabulous. Don't judge me. All right, here we go. Maybe. Right. Exactly, Abigor.
Beata Maria, you know I am a righteous man. Of my virtue I am justly proud. Beata Maria, you know I'm so much purer than the common vulgar weak licentious crowd. So tell me, Maria, why I see her dancing there, why her smoldering eyes do scorch my soul. I see her, feel her, and the sun cutting her raven hair is blazing me out of all control.
Sorry, I didn't mean to ruin this one with that.
This burning desire is turning me to see. It's not my fault. I'm not to blame. It's the gypsy girl, the witch who sent this place. It's not my fault. If I'm not blame. He made the devil so much stronger than the man. Protect me, Maria. Let a siren cast her spell. Let a fire sear my flesh and bones. Destroy Esmeralda, don't let her taste the fires of hell, or else let her be mine alone.
Hang on, subhuman. Okay, so that's Tommy P. Obviously the man can hit the bass notes. Like, that is clearly in his repertoire for sure. it's a different style. So Subhuman, since we're at the end of the stream, I'm doing that thing where I'm sharing creators. Specifically, these 4 are the ones from my Twitter poll, and also you can see it on Instagram. So if you go there, you can vote for who you think did the best. Right now on Twitter, Jonathan Young has 57.1% and Caleb Hiles has 42.9%. But I've only got 7 votes, so we'll see. And I know, isn't it it's yeah. But so this next one is Caleb Hiles, and I was pretty I actually found him within the last few months. But I was actually really pleasantly surprised. This is an old video too. He's got an updated one, but this is Caleb Hiles' cover of Hellfire. And again, this is just so you guys sort of get an idea of what their styles are. Jonathan Young is clearly a metal artist. Tommy P is clearly more like a bass, like he does the deep songs. And now we have Caleb Hiles.
Beata Maria, you know I am a righteous man. Of my virtue I am justly proud. Beata Maria, you know I'm so much purer than the common, vulgar, weak, licentious crowd. Then tell me, Maria, why I see her dancing there, why her smoldering eyes still scorch my soul. I see her, I feel her, the sun caught in her raven hair is blazing in me out of all control. Like fire, hellfire, this fire in my skin, this burning desire is turning me to sin. It's not my fault, I'm not to blame. It is the gypsy girl, the witch who sent this flame. It's not my fault, if in God's plan He made the devil so much stronger than a man. Protect me, Maria. Don't let this siren cast her spell. Don't let her fire sear my flesh and bone. Destroy Esmeralda and let her taste the fires of hell, or else let her be mine and mine alone. Hellfire, dark fire, now gypsy, it's your turn. Choose me or your pyre, be mine or you will burn. God have mercy on her. God have mercy on me, but she will be mine, or she will burn.
Okay, so that was Caleb Hiles. As you can he's got a very different style. Obviously, he's much more of a he was much more of like a forward face singer, and not, he didn't lean so much on the metal. He actually tried to be really true to the original, but he did give it his own style. And this last one we're going to listen to is Peter Hollins. Most of Peter Hollins' stuff I absolutely adore. In fact, there's little to nothing of his that I don't love. If you don't know who Peter Hollins is, I definitely recommend. So Father Christopher Miller could probably correct me on this. I know he's not seen Hunchback of Notre Dame, but the chant that you're hearing in the background of some of these, and it's in the original as well, what you're hearing is actually a Catholic it's a Catholic chant. Excuse me. Or rather it's the something started. Okay, there we go. Sorry. It's like a prayer that they put to music, but it's where you're supposed to, like, you're admitting the wrongdoing of what you've done. Like, you're taking responsibility, you're admitting fault. And then you have Frollo, who is excuse me. You have Frollo, who is saying, it's not my fault. I'm not to blame. She's the devil. Like, it's the gypsy girl. It's her fault. It's not mine. But it's it's like a confession prayer. Raj. So that's what they're chanting. They're talking. You're not an expert in chant. You better become an expert, Father Miller. That's all I'm saying. I'm just kidding. But from my understanding, like research that I've done in regards to this song, it's a Latin Catholic chant, confession chant, taking responsibility for your sins, for what you have done. And the irony of it is that obviously Frollo in the song is saying it isn't his fault. He doesn't take responsibility. It's the gypsy girl's fault. So that's why it's actually pretty brilliant, the juxtaposition of the two. And, you know, being a humble a humble servant to the Lord and to God's creations, and realizing that we're human, and taking you know, so you've got that juxtaposition with being a humble Christian who's supposed to serve your neighbor and God and recognize your mistakes and shortcomings, juxtaposed against Frollo, who really thinks he can do no wrong, which is also in the movie, of course, where he was like, he, in the very beginning, the music where he's like, he saw corruption everywhere except within. So he saw himself as basically perfect. You'll just say it sounds like chant doesn't mean it's chant, referencing Enigma Sadness Part 1. Okay, that's fair. Well, they turned it into a chant, I guess. I don't know. All right, so this last one is Peter Hollins and his rendition of Hellfire. Now, with Tommy P, we definitely got that bass. With Caleb, we got those very rich, like, tenor middle notes. And then, of course, with Jonathan Young, he was very metal with his song. He did the screaming at the end. He got very you know, like, passionate, like he got very metal. But you know, he really, like, brought his own style to it. Jonathan Young did, and sort of changed the whole essence of that cover, really, which is pretty incredible. But this one is Peter Hollins, and you'll see his style come through as well.
Beata Maria, you know I am a righteous man. Of my virtue I am justly proud. Beata Maria, you know I'm so much purer than the common vulgar, weak, licentious crowd. Then tell me, Maria, Why I see her dancing there, why her smoldering eyes do scorch my soul. I feel her, I see her, the sun caught in her raven hair is blazing in me out of all control. Like fire, hellfire, this fire in my skin, this burning desire is turning me to sin. It's not my fault, I'm not to blame. It is the gypsy girl, the witch who sent this flame. It's not my fault, if in God's plan, he made the devil so much stronger than man. Protect me, Maria, don't let this siren cast her spell. Don't let her fire sear my flesh and bone. Destroy Esmeralda and let her taste the fires of hell, or else let her be mine and mine alone. Hellfire, dark fire, now gypsy, it's your turn. Choose me or your fire, be mine or you will burn. God have mercy on her. God have mercy on me. But she will be mine, or she will
Oh, I hit replay instead of pause. But yes, so those are the four. Peter Hollins was, oh, hello, Katina Martin. Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate it. You're a doll. I really, truly appreciate it. I love you so much. Thank you. Over on the donation side, I got a couple more. Radio for $5. I hope I'm saying your name right, girl. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm assuming it's Redu for $5. It says, "Hail, Lady Gravemaster." Hail, Redu. And then Theta Sigma for $25 says, "Keep up the great work," or the good work, Lady G. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate all of the wonderful feedback and the support and you guys just being here. We covered a lot tonight. I'm going to have to probably change the title to Book Covers, Weird Science, and Hellfire. That's like, this was such a wonderfully random stream and I love it. I love that I can do this with you guys and that you guys stick with me long enough to give it a shot. Because I know, like, Father Christopher Miller, when you popped in, you were definitely questioning, I think, probably my sanity. Also, whether or not you were in the right place. So I really, really, really do appreciate it. But the fact that you guys are all here, it really means a lot. This is probably, I shared on Twitter the other day, but nothing has been set in stone yet. It looks like a lot of stuff is moving, but as far as I know, come November 24th, I'm probably going to have a lot of really free time on my hands and maybe make this YouTube thing, like, be more available for the YouTube thing. So I guess we'll have to wait and see kind of what happens. But all of your support is really, really, truly appreciated. I know I try not to make these streams particularly go very long. We try to keep it between 60 and 90 minutes. And so we've definitely hit that. I feel like it was a great way to sort of round out the show. Those are four very different, very talented content creators that are on YouTube. You can go look it up. Oh, thank you, Father Christopher Miller, for the thumbs up. And oh, you liked the Tommy P one? Yeah. So, well, maybe that wasn't you, Chris, but yeah, I love all of the versions of the song. Obviously I can't vote, but Tommy P is like, he is in the basement with that, like he's in the sub basement with that song, and it's phenomenal to listen to. But I really appreciate everybody stopping by and giving Weird Science. You know, you came for Weird Science and you got a whole lot more than you were bargaining for, but I hope that you know, it was worth it. If you haven't seen it, like I said, I didn't cover the end of this movie because I was shocked how many of you have not seen this movie. It's very good. It's hilarious. It's well written. It's smart. You'll love it. Go pick it up. Go watch it. Have fun. Enjoy. And I hope that my suggestions so far, you guys have enjoyed the nostalgia streams, and they've maybe brightened your mood up a bit as well. That's like I said, the whole point of these streams is for you guys to have an outlet and for it to be stuff that you can purely enjoy. So I think I'm probably gonna go and yes, Tubies with Timmy. I don't even know what I just said. I think it was something bad, but yes, you should go watch Weird Science. It's definitely worth your time and energy, and it will lift your spirits whether they need lifting or not. But I strongly recommend this. So as of right now, I'm working on several videos. I'm trying to get, I'm showing my age. Oh, I think you would giggle if you knew. I'm a millennial, if that helps you. Hard work. I just had a mother who knew what was good and made sure that I was able to enjoy it as well. That's why I was watching Indiana Jones at 6 years old. I'm just saying. But I love you guys so much. You're all so important to me. I can't thank you enough for all of the support and the kindness and the fact that you guys are sticking with me as we go through this together. And it's just been absolutely wonderful. But now, thanks to Legionist, I have to go and sing Phantom of the Opera with my husband. Because yeah, he usually gets his way. So we're gonna go over there and have some fun and do our nerdy stuff and sing some Phantom of the Opera, because who doesn't love that music and that story? And Katina Martin, thank you so much. You're amazing. Like, really, truly, you are amazing. And I will, this will be a weekly show. I'll be adding more live streams. And as it sits right now, like I said, I'm working on a bunch of videos. I'm trying to get 2 out either tomorrow or Saturday. I'm not sure when they're going to drop. And then I'm going to be trying to churn out videos on a regular basis. I have so many that are either in editing or that I'm finishing up, that I really want to be able to just drop consistent videos frequently, especially when it comes to Lord of the Rings and Wheel of Time, because there's a lot to say there. And so that's sort of what we're looking forward to. The other one that I'm working on is called The Color Blue. It's still relates to kind of everything, but it's more of a story. It's not like a review or an opinion or anything like that. This is just going to be like an original vid that I'm working on. So I'm actually kind of excited for that one, and I hope people like it because it's a story. But we'll see how it goes. And record. No, I'm not going to do that. Thank you, Legion. I promise you're not missing much. My husband is a flatterer. I think he truly believes I'm more talented than I am. Plus, I've got to put in more hard work. I've not really been conditioning my voice the way it should be to sing the way I want to anymore. But thank you, everybody, for coming. Definitely go watch Weird Science. You will absolutely love it. Let me know what you think about it. Watch the beginning of the stream if you missed it, where we talk about book covers and kind of how we can fix it or what we should do or some solutions for that. And then, of course, we had the Hellfire covers at the end. So lots of fun. I love all of you, and thank you again so much. I hope you all have a wonderful night. I will see you on Friday Night Tights. I'll be in the chat as I always am. And then, of course, Saturday, I'm streaming with the one and only Lethal Lightning about the second half of Volume 2 with Sailor Moon. And I'm not sure if Father Christopher Miller is doing a live stream Saturday morning or not yet, but keep an eye out on his channel. He's a great content creator, too. He does wonderful stuff, and he holds his first Saturday streams. I'm not sure if we're doing that this Saturday yet or not, but just keep an eye out. So thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful night.